Okay, questions. Please raise your hand. Let's get the handheld mic to you. Let us know who you are and who you're with. First one up here, front row.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Blackburn from the Niner Times. What's your thoughts on playing here in the Spectrum Center and in general being able to, I guess, stay close to home and being able to still have your fans around and their energy? What does that mean to you?
No, I think it's a huge deal, to be able to be close to campus where a lot of our fans can travel and be able to support this team and this program. We played here earlier in the year in the Jordan Classic, and we played Oklahoma, and we had a number of fans here. And so just to have an opportunity to be here in Charlotte and play close to home is a big deal for us, and hopefully that helps us play at our best tomorrow.
Middle of the room to our left.
Hey, Hubert. Ben Portnoy with Sports Business Journal. Wanted to ask you a lot of discussion about changes to the tournament, the format, expansion, things like that. I'm curious kind of where you fall on that and what you feel like is kind of the future of the NCAA men's basketball tournament and where it might go moving forward.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to stay away from is, making comments and thinking about things that I have absolutely no control of, and I have no control of that. The only thing that is in front of me is, as a coach, trying to prepare this team to be the best that it can be every year, and whether the tournament stays the same or it expands or changes, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this tournament, and it's something that we're really excited about.
Back left.
Coach, Hunter Bailey with the Highway 49 podcast. I saw online that, this is a two-part question, by the way. I saw online your favorite rapper is Lil Durk. I'm curious how you came across Lil Durk and why he's your favorite.
Yeah, my wife texted me. I don't know why everybody's so surprised at that. I'm 53. I'm not that old. And so, I like Lil Durk. I like Meek Mill. I like Biggie, Rod Wave. And so they asked me to pick my favorite, and it's Lil Durk. And so I just love his music and listening to it all the time, especially before games, and it's something that I've done for a long time.
And part two to that, you were drafted in the 90s, played 12 years in the league. When you think about rappers in the NBA now, and then, you had AI, Shaq back then, you think guys like Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant now. What do you think the connection is between music and basketball across, whether it be college or the NBA?
Well, I think there is a connection. We're all, all of us love music, and, all those different artists come to our games, and we get an opportunity to be able to meet and develop relationships with them. And so, and in some sense, we're all entertainers. And so, being able to develop relationships and to be able to have those relationships, I think is something that's really important. But it's always been, whether it's music and basketball, it's something that there's always been a connection. I think it's always will be, and it's always been a great connection.
Second row to our right.
Hubert, Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. There's been, in the last few years, some pretty significant upsets we've seen. Obviously, St. Peter's been on a run a couple years ago, and FDU last year. What makes Wagner most dangerous? What are the things that you're, from what you've seen on film, are you expressing to your players that makes them the biggest threat to you?
Well, one, they're a really good basketball team that's extremely well coached. In order, just for their conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament, they had to win 3 games on the road. That's real. To be able to do that, and then to beat a very good Howard team on a neutral site. It's a team that is very confident, a team that can really shoot. They're outstanding defensively. I already mentioned that they're extremely well coached, and they're excited about the opportunity about playing us. And it doesn't matter what conference, where you come from. If you're a part of this tournament, you've experienced success at some stage, at some way throughout the season, which allows you to be successful. And Wagner has our full attention because they are deserving of having our full attention, and we're excited about the challenge of playing a really good Wagner team.
I have 2 questions, but the first one is, what's your hype-up song that you like to listen to? And the second one is, what's the expectations for Elliott and his gameplay, considering this is his first March Madness?
The first question is Started From and Backdoor from Lil Durk. And what was your second question?
What's the expectations for Elliott and his gameplay since
Well, I mean, it's first for Harrison too. It's first for Pax. It's first for a lot of guys, and our job and our expectation is to be the best that we can be. Really, in 3 areas that we've identified all years for us to be really good defensively, rebounding the basketball, and taking care of the basketball. But most importantly, I want these guys to enjoy this experience and have fun, and that's something that is expected of them throughout the rest of the tournament.
Other questions, we'll also incorporate Zoom. If you have a question on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Next question to our right.
Hubert, David Hale with ESPN. Your roots in the ACC go back a long way. When you see something like yesterday, Clemson filed a lawsuit, FSU obviously did a couple months ago. I know there's a lot of sort of concern over the future of the league, the direction of the league, the direction of college sports in general.
I didn't hear about it.
So Clemson filed a lawsuit essentially challenging the grant of rights. Many people would assume that is a first step towards trying to leave the conference. Okay. Do you worry about sort of the future of college athletics in general and why it's being driven largely by football, and particularly given the history of basketball in this conference, that those conversations are sort of unfolding the way they are?
Yeah, that's the first that I've heard of that. And again, just, staying away from commenting on things that I'm not in a position to make those type of decisions. You mentioned that I have a long history of the ACC, and you're right. I've always felt like the ACC was the best conference, specifically in college basketball, but in general. I remember it, for me, experiencing the ACC for myself when there was only 8 teams and you were playing each other twice. My senior year was the first year that we actually had to get on an airplane, and that's when Florida State in '92 joined the conference. And so things change, but I've always loved the ACC, and I've always felt like it was the best conference. And my hope is that this conference not only will stay together, but even get stronger.
Hubert. Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. Welcome to Charlotte.
Yeah.
With your players before a game like this, do you go with only positive vibes and uplifting sorts of emotions, or do you remind them that in this very building, UMBC beat Virginia in the first 16-1 upset ever in 2018?
I don't talk to them about that. I don't even know what age those guys were when that happened. I mean, one of the things that I always talk to the guys is to focus on what is real, and what is real is our preparation, our practice, and our play versus Wagner tomorrow. That's the only thing that we have control of, and that should be something that's celebrated and enjoyed. And we're excited about the challenge of competing in the NCAA tournament and competing against Wagner. And it's not necessarily uplifting things. It's focusing on truth and what is real. And we have a game tomorrow at 2:45, and our job and our responsibility is to play our best game tomorrow.
Hubert, obviously Harrison does a lot for you guys, but what have you noticed about him offensively these last few weeks, and kind of highlighted on film to kind of get him going again on that end?
Yeah, Harrison's just a huge piece for us on both ends of the floor. You mentioned offensively, his ability to score in many different ways is a huge factor for us. And, we've just got to find some ways to be able to get him more looks around the basket, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. And I feel like over the last 2 or 3 weeks, a majority of his shots have been from 3, and he can really shoot the basketball, but I think his gift offensively is his versatility. And so those are things that we have talked about. Those are things that we have worked on at practice, and my hope can be put into play tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.